I try and do a different color.
You do?
Try to
Okay.
keep it, you have to notice moving forward. I always think, what haven't I had in a while? Christmas was, December was Christmas green.
Green.
You know, I put so much effort into these things and nobody appreciates
Well, I
it.
just noticed it. The pink is what I was really drew it. It was pink because you can't not think about it when it's there. That's a nice one.
The new treasurer said, make it as bright pink as you can.
There
I
you
said,
go.
"Okay,
It worked.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna tell him it was noticed.
There you go. I don't know, they're burning through ink cartridges on my tax dollars.
That's the problem. That's the only problem, though. I try to limit it to
It's
just
so
that.
expensive, right? It's crazy how much that costs.
It really is.
And I feel like I hardly ever use my printer. I feel like I'm always out of ink, so it doesn't.
You know, thank God we have the color copier, so it's not as expensive because the toner comes with the copier itself.
Right.
I can't even imagine if we had to pay for the amount of copies we make.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of paper.
January 5th, 2026.
And my phone's right in here. Would have went over well.
I was gonna text. Well, we're on. And Jonathan's on the phone already.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hi.
Okay. All right. Sorry for the delay. Welcome to our January 5th Village Board meeting. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Can I get a motion to open the public hearing for local law number 1 of 2026 to add to the Village Code, Chapter 100, entitled Overnight Accommodations?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Sorry.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Do we have any public comments regarding that?
Okay. So,
Do we have any written comments?
Do we have any written comments? Thank you, Danielle.
so did we discuss this at all at our last meeting? I lost track. I don't think we have, right?
Yes,
We
we
did
did
a little. We did, yeah,
to
we-
introduce
I
it.
just introduced it, gave it to the board
Yes,
members.
introduced it, yes.
Yeah. So basically, short-term rentals is referring to anything less than 30 days, kind of like Airbnbs and where they advertise on websites. There was a situation up north not too long ago where there was a couple of fatalities from a fire. It was a short-term rental like an Airbnb, and they didn't have proper fire codes. So ultimately, New York State's going to come down and make all municipalities do this at some point. So Chris, the building inspector, myself, and Amanda in the planning department did a lot of research. Amanda was a huge help. Chris, we received a lot of other short-term rental agreements from other municipalities, and we kind of put it together to fit for the village, what we thought would fit the village needs. Does any board members have any questions after looking it over?
No, I'm okay.
Okay.
No, it's fine. The only question I have is the 15, where did we come up with that number? Just,
It was just
It's
based
just
on, it took us months to do this, and during that time, we'd go on at various points and see how many rentals were out there. There's 2 or 3.
Yeah, I know there's not many.
There's not that many, so
If
we
we
thought
do hit the 15 and say someone else wants to do it, where do they have to get on a waiting list?
they get on a waiting list.
We also looked at surrounding municipalities
And
and
that's
how
what
many
they do
they
too?
were doing it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they do limit.
Yes.
they do limit, and we're a small village, and, you know,
Yeah.
you don't want to change
Yeah, I
the
know, you
character
don't
of a
want- yeah, I
neighborhood.
get it. You don't want to, I
You
get
can
that.
also have it in here, and I think we do something, if in the future you wanted to
Open it up
change
more
that
or something?
number,
Yeah,
you
Okay.
could.
we can always
All right.
do that.
Yeah.
This is just for us to.
Yeah, I was just
A
wondering. where it
lot of
came from.
municipalities already have a local law addressing this, and we didn't
Yeah, that I can
have
understand.
that, and so we wanted to.
So one of the things I realized after we put all this together, was brought to my attention that we really don't have anything that covers people that fail to register. So Jennifer had sent this to Dutchess County Planning for the review, and they gave us a response back with some of their, I hate to use the word concerns, but some of their suggestions.
We want to at least state what their 3 are.
I have the one from Sarah.
Oh, it's in the back of this? Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was in the back of my packet. There it is, got it. I got it,
You got it?
yes. All right, so there were 3 comments that were brought forward by Dutchess County. One is the proposed local law does not appear to address how any existing STR will be treated. We recommend including clear provisions for these properties, such as a defined registration period for current STR operators and guidance on whether pre-existing rental agreements will be honored after adoption. This will help ensure a smooth transition and minimize uncertainty for property owners and renters. So to speak to this, if you're operating an Airbnb and you took a reservation for August of this year, and now we're just
Right, yeah,
telling
right,
that, so
yeah.
this,
Yeah, they gotta have.
they
one
want
back,
us to
sure.
make it clear, how do we work with people that already have an operating
Right.
and have registrations for their use, so. Item 2, short-term rentals should be added to Schedule A of permitted uses. The attorneys will be taking a look at that and advising us on that one. And 3 is basically the same thing. It's something talking about our separate subsections. And so the attorneys will review that as well and advise us on that.
So is it possible for us to keep the public hearing open?
Yes.
And at our next meeting,
I would suggest perhaps if the board's so inclined, allow yourself enough time and perhaps look at this for your February, I think Jennifer, the 2nd meeting. I believe that's the first Monday. Let's make sure we have the date certain. You can leave it open and adjourn to that date.
right, so we have another meeting in
Right,
January,
so-
and then at the first meeting in February, we should be able to have everything together?
Yeah, we're hoping that by our next meeting, we can at least get, February 2nd. So we're hoping to get guidance from the
Yep.
attorneys to address the county comments and address any other issues. And if we have to revise the proposal, we will revise it and reintroduce it.
At February 2nd, February 2nd.
Reintroduce it for our next meeting, and then February 2nd is when we'll really discuss it and
Right, then decide whether or not you're going to close
Yeah,
the public hearing
at
and
that
vote.
point.
okay, so the public hearing's still open?
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
and I guess just make a motion to leave it open and.
All right, so I'll make a motion to leave the public hearing open until our February 2nd meeting.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Minutes, need approval for the December 1st organizational meeting and regular meeting. Any motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, so we have before us the Anderson Way bid information. Jonathan, do you want to walk us through any of this?
Yeah, so basically what's in front of you, we provided our bid recommendation after evaluating the 4 bids that came in. We're recommending for village approval for authorization to approve and move forward with the apparent low bidder, Scape Tech Technology, Inc., out of Katona, New York. So they came in with a base bid of $628,390. We're recommending moving forward with the bid alternates at well, which is a total price of $643,140. So even with the alternates, they're still lower than the other bids. The one thing to note in this, we included the tabulation that breaks out all the specific items from each bidder. We do have a construction allowance built into the budget, which would only be touched. We would come into the village for authorization prior to moving forward. It just helps handle any unforeseen that do come up. And we are recommending moving forward with the alternates for the total price, again, of the $643,140, because we put alternates in to replace the drainage structures that are in need to do so. So if anybody has any questions in looking through this, please let us know.
And just for the record, could we just talk about that these bids were publicly read and when they were? It's in the letter here, but I just think it would be wise. I can do it if it's easier, just so everyone knows that these bids were submitted and they were publicly read on Wednesday, November 26th at 11 a.m. Didn't mean to interrupt with the budget questions, if any.
It's okay. So does anybody have any questions? Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
I couldn't hear all that, if
She
if
was
any of that
just-
was for me. I'm
No,
sorry.
she was just reading into record that the bids were opened on November 26th at 11 a.m.,
Okay,
just for record.
thank you.
I think Jonathan has done a thorough review of this. Jonathan was down and did a walkthrough with the contractors. It was unfortunate that we had to make the decision to push this till spring because of weather and the plants closing, and just about every person that put in a bid brought that forward of a concern of having inferior product if we had started and stopped for the winter.
No, you had to wait.
So, anybody have any questions?
No, thank you, Jonathan. It's a lot of work.
No problem.
I will make a motion to go with Scape Tech and award them the bid.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, the next is annual intermunicipal agreement with the county for procurement assistance. So this is just to authorize my signature.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then another one with the county, this is to authorize my signature for the 2026 participation agreement for Dutchess County Self-Insured Workers' Compensation Plan. By doing this with the county, we get a better rate. Anybody have any questions?
No.
Nope.
Okay, can I get a motion?
I'll make the motion. Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, and this is, I will make a motion to approve pay request number 5. This is the final pay app for Anderson Way water main replacement project with Amity Construction in the amount of $85,011.08.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Jonathan, you have any engineering report for us?
Yeah, I think we took care of Anderson Way, so the only real update I have is regarding the lead service line inventory, just so I'll refresh everybody's memory because it's probably been close to a year since we've talked about it, but this is a requirement that came down from EPA and DOH is administering. So there's a bunch of formal requirements we have to work towards because they have their future plan to essentially eradicate any lead service lines in older systems. So what we are currently working on and to get out the door is some updated language following EPA's draft guidance for updated notices that'll be sent out to the residences. So we're finalizing the language. We're going to get it over to the village, and the village will be mailing it out to residents. So because the system has a lot of unknown connections, there will be a lot of mailings, unfortunately. So we have very clear language in there on, what's going to happen over time and where the lead service line inventory, be located at the village hall if anybody wants to take a look. But the reason we do have so many unknowns at this stage is you have to basically know what's on the village side from the water main to the curb stop, and then also what's between the curb stop, the residents, and what's in the basement. So we do know, quite a few what's in the basement, but we have a lot of unknowns in the system. So due to that, there will be a lot of notices. I just wanted to let the board know we're working on it, and we'll get the language out. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out or ask me now.
Thank you, Jonathan. Anybody have any questions regarding
No
that?
problem.
Nope, I sent mine in.
It's something we're gonna have to continue to do for who knows how long.
How are you gonna make people do it, though? Like, people to just throw it away?
Well, at this point, we don't have to make people do it, but we encourage them.
Yeah,
Right,
it's a
Sure.
At some
it's a
point.
10. They set a 10-year plan. Yeah.
10 years? Okay.
Sorry, Lori, I didn't mean to
That's
interrupt.
I get it,
okay.
10 years, okay.
Any other questions for Jonathan? Okay, Danielle, do you have anything to report?
No report.
All right. I'll make a motion to pay the December bills in the amount of $197,984.38.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
One thing that I would like to bring up before public comment is we have become aware of the new restaurant, Cornerstone Restaurant, parking the back half of 140, which is the rental house next door. Their site plan approval does not allow for that. They were given a warning last Tuesday to cease and desist parking on 140. They have ignored that warning, and so a violation is imminent. So I just want everybody to know that we are fully aware of this and we will be handling it. Anybody have any questions on that?
No, I think I passed Friday night and there were cars all over that lawn.
So does any board member have anything else that they would like to bring up at this time?
I just wanted to thank our highway workers for fighting the storm, Jimmy, Eric, Zach, and Mike. It was long hours they put in, long hours those guys in.
And I will say that we did get quite a few compliments on the
Good.
work.
Glad to hear it. Good.
So kudos to them.
And they will be picking up garbage trees again, correct?
Christmas
yes,
trees, garbage trees, garbage trees. Yeah, pick up your garbage
Yeah.
tree, why not?
Yes, Christmas trees. Can we edit that out? Yes,
Mine's out
Christmas
already.
trees, yes.
That was good.
New kind of tree.
Yeah, all right. Yes, they will be, and mine's out already, so
Okay.
my wife has it cleaned up, done. Holiday's over.
Yeah, my Christmas is already in the attic,
Yeah.
so. Anything else? Okay. Any public comment?
Yep. So following Mike Rendish, 136 East Main Street, your comment about the restaurant and the parking in the backyard. Going to review a little history, if you don't mind. Start back with, this is all in reference to 140 East Main Street, all right, which is the building next door. And between my house case you don't know, and the restaurant itself. So, I'll go back to November 2021. This is a letter that I wrote to you, Lori, and actually maybe I didn't. This went to the planning. I went to you too, copied you, planning board, and to you. And this was just highlighting all of my personal issues with what was going on at the 140 East Main Street property. And kind of review a little more history. So my first knowledge of the project was the Zoning Board of Appeals public hearing about the zoning appeals that they needed to do. I never received a notice of a public hearing for the planning board, which happened earlier. I don't know how that happened, but that doesn't really matter. Because frankly, I would have had the same response. I attended that meeting. It was a Zoom meeting during COVID. Had no objection because it was clear at the meeting that the 140 East Main Street was going to remain a residential property and was not going to be affected. Naivety. But anyway, so I made no objection to it and made no comment at that meeting. So as soon as construction started, practically day one, they removed the trees in the backyard of 140 East Main Street. These were fully grown, 2 huge evergreen trees, 1 big maple tree. They eventually removed every single tree on that lot, side, front, back, completely. When those trees disappeared, I mean, I've lived here at that point for 22 years or so. We built our house in '98, and our backyard always kind of was shared with the 140 East Main Street backyard. We had a nice neighbor who lived there in those days, and it was wide open. Those trees shielded both of our properties from Route 22 and the restaurant, for that matter, at the time. So that was gone. So I now stood in my backyard, and instead of it being the private backyard it was, I could now literally see the faces of people stopped at the traffic light. Didn't quite know what to do about that, so we invested $8,500 to build the fence that you see there today, that dark colored fence that we installed just to regain some semblance of privacy in our backyard. Also, by the way, it didn't occur to me even at that point in time that they weren't allowed to do that. Because my thought was, well, it's their backyard, I guess they can cut down their trees. Wasn't even thinking in terms of the restaurant and so on. My first thought about the restaurant part, though, came when I saw, actually it was Sam himself out there digging the hole for what eventually would be the flagpole that stands there today. Backing up again, by the way, so nearly every tree, this is just some of the comments I made in that letter back then. During the construction, it was the backyard of the house was used for parking all of the construction equipment. It was used for all the materials that were moved in the excavation of the restaurant site were piled up there, and workers' cars. So they were using it then, and frankly, I could say, all right, I can understand temporary use of the yard, whatever. But that's that, I think. Move on now to the next thing. Actually, this predates this. It was October 2021 when I also sent a letter. This time was officially complaining. I sent it to you, Mayor Taylor, and to the building inspector at the time, and kind of calling out these individual items that I felt were violations of the village code that they were doing in 140 East Main Street, again, not the restaurant property itself. And the first was the flagpole. It's clearly for the restaurant. It violates what section now? When we talk about the, it's the yard per building, right? Yard for every building, and you're not supposed to have, you can't put something in somebody else's yard for purposes of yours. Clearly for the purpose of that. On the flagpole, I understand that if they could say that it's putting a flagpole in their backyard, and nothing that says you can't do that. It's clearly, any logical person recognizes it's not for the rental house, it's for the restaurant. But that aside, what we can point out, though, is the light that illuminates that flagpole. There's a spotlight that shines up on that flagpole. It's fed from underground conduit, which I don't know this for verification personally, but I bet my house that it's connected to a circuit in the restaurant building. That's underground conduit and a light installed on the other property. Also, by the way, certainly done without a permit. That's one. Two, well, I'll just say two, get out of the way, was a generator. They had installed, at that point, there was a diesel generator pad initially, eventually a generator itself. That did get removed. And that's gone now. I think it's parked next to, for future use. And number three, and this was, and again, I brought this up, I brought it up a bunch of times, and I don't know that it's ever been addressed. The 140 East Main Street, I believe the previous owner, who was the former mayor at the time, had converted it to propane gas and installed gas tanks behind it to feed up presumably the heat and I guess the stoves in that building. Those disappeared because they're now fed from the underground propane tanks that are in the restaurant property. So they're dual feeding it. There's gas meters in the back of that house. There are no propane tanks at 140 East Main Street. 140 East Main Street is being fed by services from the restaurant property. Again, a violation of the yard per, and again, certainly done without a permit. So that's 140 East Main Street. Continuing. So as the mayor pointed out, of course, that parking in the backyard was clearly never allowed. Their site plan approval called for a few things, one of which, of course, and notably so, is that employee parking was to happen at Hudson Valley Plastics. I'm not telling anybody and don't already know, but I'm going to say it all out loud here. That's what they're supposed to be doing. It was never a great idea, but Captain Hindsight. But anyway, that's what they need to do, and there's clearly not enough parking to put the employees. There's about 19 to 20 cars in the backyard of 140 East Main Street every evening, every day, except for today, closed on Monday, so they can park somewhere else. But it is their parking lot. On that parking lot, I live next door to it. Got a grandstand view, as they're saying. So the first day they had it, and I wrote to Mayor Taylor with a picture of the parking was going on. The next day, it snowed. Sure enough, snowplows come through. It's a parking lot. And not only is it a parking lot, it's got a really convenient wraparound driveway. They drive on each side yard of that house. You got to see it at 11 o'clock at night when work lets out, and all of a sudden these cars are come screaming out the back en masse. The tenant on the lower floor who loves her screened-in porch, I can't imagine what that's like sitting there as these cars go blowing by at night, leaving, or as they come and go during the day. They're driving on the yard. So that's just to kind of highlight what you already know, again, and I appreciate that you're taking some kind of action, whatever that means. What a violation means, I don't know. A couple other things on what else was, other things that were part of that approval, by the way. This is the site plan approval for the restaurant originally, 135 seats. That's what they're approved to do. And that's what that was on the plan. They were approved for 135 seats. The 135 seats was not specified in the approval, though, in the site plan approval. What was specified was water usage. They shall not exceed the average monthly water consumption by McGrath's during the last 12 months of operation. So you got to go back to the last 12 months of McGrath's operation. I don't know who's going to police this. I guess eventually you're going to get their water. You'll see the water bills. You'll see the water usage and be able to know whether they are using more than McGrath's used on average or not. So it's got to be monitored. A flaw, I suppose, in this approval is it doesn't say. Now that was put in place because we had water restrictions. We had water problems at the time.
They were held at 135 seats, and
Right.
the same water usage as McGrath until we secured a new water supply.
Right. It doesn't say how that happens at all. On how, when we did secure a supply, we have more water now. I would imagine, and I don't know what the rules are exactly, that they should have to come back to probably the planning board and request an increase in the seat capacity above 135 to whatever level everyone agrees is appropriate. Their original plan was for 200 seats. So that needs to be, I guess, followed. And what's the process for increasing the seats? And I suppose it'd come back to the planning board.
I thought they had gone back to the planning board for the 200 seats, but I'm not positive.
No.
No?
I've read all the minutes from all the meetings that have happened since then. They never went back for that. Another planning board comment. This is regarding the screening between 146, the restaurant, and 140 East Main Street. They were required to have screening there. In January 2024 meeting of the planning board, there was a lot of discussion about that screening and about what needed to be done. Lou Masella, I guess, spoke up on that one. Apparently he has some expertise in trees. And and said that you need 50 trees spaced every 6 feet, trunk to trunk, staggered with a second row of trees 3 feet behind, which will cover the space between the trees in the first and second rows. This was on the property line between the restaurant and 140 East Main Street. And ultimately, they actually passed a resolution at that meeting, again referring to the 135-seat restaurant, and saying that installation of at least 40 green giant evergreen trees at the south property line of the 140 East Main Street property, which abuts the north side of the site to screen noise and headlights in a staggered configuration and close enough to each other that a continuous line of screening is created. In the event that 40 trees is deemed insufficient by the village planner, applicant will plant the number of additional trees necessary to accomplish the continuous line. Now, I don't know from Green Giants, I can count though. There are 30 trees planted there, not 40 trees or more than 40 trees, as the village planner was supposed to, I guess, look at it and decide whether or not it was providing adequate screening. I also suggested we verify that they're in fact green giants. Again, I don't know what a green giant looks like. That, I think, may be all I need to want to say tonight about this. Yeah, it's just I guess it's just a general comment too. I mean, going back to the restaurant itself, I mean, everyone in this room, I think, knows the history of that restaurant and why it took 6 years for that place to finally open. Thank God it finally opened, you would think. I would. It took 6 years, and it took 6 years because of the way they acted, the way they behaved, the way they just went ahead and did anything they wanted to do, ignored the village's direction at every turn, and doing it again, warned and ignoring it. They've shown zero willingness to cooperate with the village. And the village has done all kinds of, have made exceptions for them, special permits, and have bent over backwards to allow this to happen. Understandably so. You want to have a nice new restaurant at the corner of East Main Street and 22. Nothing back from them, nothing. And all of that, I think, needs to weigh in to the way that, that this owner is addressed. And I think that's all I have to say about that.
Mr. Burns, can I ask you, have they ever knocked on your door and said, what can we do to make you happy?
When they were cutting down one of the trees in front of the building, I walked up to Sam and said, "What are you doing?" And he told me, "We'll fix it. We'll do it. We're going to make this beautiful. We're going to plant trees in the back and all that." So he brought that up. A couple times early on, before they even tore down the old restaurant, they were at the side of the property, kind of scoping things out to plant some bushes that they eventually did plant there, which died and they got rid of it. Whatever. That all happened a long time ago, and was talking about, you know, being a good neighbor and cooperating also. There's no intention of that.
But they never approached you.
It never went.
Never approached me. No, I've met them a couple times. The last time I was approached by them was when he came knocking on my door to invite me to come eat at the restaurant, and I declined. But in any case, yeah, no, that's not been, no.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question, by the way, about, you know, what does a violation mean? There's an issue to violation, you say.
A notice of violation can be a notice that there is a violation occurring of the village code. And it can also be accompanied with an order to remedy. So those are all things that the building department takes a look at, and legal, and it's in furtherance of having compliance with the village code.
And with their site plan.
Yeah, okay. Well, can I also just request then, I mean, I've reread a letter that was written, so I've already made that official complaint 4 years ago, 5 years ago, about the flagpole and the light and the propane. Those are violations as well, I think, and I hope that will also be investigated.
Okay.
Again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any board member have anything else? All right. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Jonathan. Have a good night.
Thanks, have a nice night, everyone.